Hey, so in this video we are talking about ways you can make money during the next recessions, and we don't know when it's going to be. But you can watch the news, and they might say it's going to be tomorrow. They might say it's give me the next month or maybe the next year. Now nobody truly knows when we are going to hit the next recession. But the one thing that can be certain of is that we will have the recessions at some point in the future. I kind of view or it like the trying to divert the hurricane to go somewhere else, and tell hurricanes to go at the different directions. It's just not really possible. We are going to have the recessions, and we can't avoid it. So what are some ways to you can make money during the next recessions? And I don't really look forward to recessions. I don't think that they are the fun. Some people view them as the buying stocks on the sales and starting businesses for the cheap with cheap interest rates. But the reality is people lose jobs during the recessions, and even the suicide rates are tied to going up. And during the recessions, there's the couples studies on that. But let's talk about some ways you can make the money during the recession. So that you can benefit, that you can help your family and help others to get recessions comfortably without having to stress financially, and could lead to some other problems. So the first things that we want to think about is kind of the look into the past at or other past recessions to see what happened there, and what companies or that businesses did reply with during the recessions. And one thing that really comes to mind is actually Dollar Tree. So with a lot of the other companies were faced planning during the recessions that we had about 10 years ago. Dollar Tree was actually faring pretty well, and the reasons for this is quite obvious, and that's because people weren't buying these expensive items anymore. But instead of going to the Dollar Tree, they where everything is dollar, and spending money there because it was a lot cheaper than where they cutting down their budgets, and they were saving the money. So Dollar Tree actually fared pretty well. Another company would be the Walmart. So Walmart did pretty well back in the past recessions. That's because some things with the Dollar Tree they were spending less money on their expenses, so items they weren't buying those Gucci t-shirts anymore. They were buying things that Walmart and these discount stores where everything was a lot cheaper. So you want to think about what, and it's how it leads me into the next point here, which is healthcare. And so the healthcare industry and the educational industry in America, actually the unemployment rate in the both of those industries actually decreased during the recessions. I was just reading the report from the Bureau of the Labor Statistics about the unemployment rate in the each and every single industry. In the educational sectors and the healthcare sector, the unemployment rate actually decreases while everything else was increasing. So what this means is in the past recessions, healthcare actually did pretty well in the terms of the employments as well as the educational sectors. And so you can think about this because the healthcare sector has been growing pretty steadily for the very long time. That's because people, regardless of the economic climate, they will always have to pay for those really important medical bills that you need to, if you need to get better, if you are sick, somebody tells you you need this pill and it costs some amount of the dollars, you will find a way to come up with that money. That's how it works. People are very motivated to fix themselves and to fix other people's health problems. So it's definitely something that you could consider looking into the healthcare as the whole. It's always going to be around. It's always going to be the increases in the improvements in the healthcare. It's it's always going to be the market that is overall pretty well off. Now it's almost never advised to try to the market, even the greatest investors like the Warren Buffett say time in the market doesn't really work out for most people. But in reality, let's be honest, a lot of us try to at least factor of the time in the market into our equations. Then when we are trying to figure out how to make money, because you think the market has been increasing for the 10 years, it's probably due to the corrections at some point in your future. So if you are going to try to time the market, at least in the part, it's important to have some cash saved up. It's really important to have the cash saved up because the worst thing that happens to people is that when they enter the recessions and say it's fall 2008 and we are the bottoms of it, practically people don't have any cash. They don't buy any money saved up because they were buying all those things with their credit cards years before, because the market were doing the great, the economy was doing the great, customers confidence was at the all-time high, and so people are spending more money, and they don't have any money left because they have the credit debt, card debt racked up in the sudden loans, and all kinds of the different debts, and they normally cash at the bottom of the market. Any cash you can't buy that house for 25 cents on the dollar down the road from you, that is the great investments, but you can't buy it because you don't have any cash saved up. So I think it is important to have the decent amount of the cash saved up for the next recessions. Not too much, because it is going to lose its value if it's just sitting in the bank account, or you could put into something like the higher rates money market funds. You can get the few percentage on it. I know Robinhood just came out with this new feature when they offered 3% of you can watch the Graham Stephanos video. What's really interesting, but you are going to need the cash, but more than cash, kind of the coin king. With that, you are going to need to have the good credit scores. See if you are trying to make the money during the recessions when one more at the time bottoms of the market, and you want to buy your neighbor house that's they are selling for the $80,000 that 2 years ago sold at $200,000. It's a great house. It's undervalued. You want to buy it, but you don't have the good credit scores. It's going to kill you. It's going to be the painful if you don't have the good credit score. You see this golden opportunity, but you can't buy it because you don't have the good credit scores. So build that credit scores if you don't have the good one. Now, if you are the jacker, jacked it up because you missed some payments in the past, it's okay, just keep working in it. There is nothing you can do in the short run to really boost it significantly to go from the 400 to 800 credit scores, but you can keep working on it and build. It's so crucial at any points in your life, at any market in your the economic as the whole. It's important to have the really good credit scores. Now, people also consider investing into precious metals during the recession. So before we hit the recessions, while we are in the all-time market highs, some people like to invest into the precious metals, and this is kind of for the pretty obvious reasons. But in a lot of the cases, people think that the correlated between the gold prices and the stocks market are inversely related significantly, like as if the markets drop and gold goes straight up, and that's not always the case. You can look at the past couple dozens recessions, and we have had and see that that's not always the case. In some cases, like in the Great Depressions, gold went up because the people were really scary about the market. This was a lot of the turbulences. There was a lot of the fear about the market, and so gold prices went up. Though, but there gold are going to be the times where the gold doesn't always increase, just because the market drops. So you can look into the precious metals. I suggest just doing a little bit more research on it if you are get into them. I'm not a huge fan of the precious metals. I just don't. It's just not my cup of the tea, but it's totally cool if that's something that you would consider trying to make the money on. If we are on the top of the market, you think the market are going to plummet, and you could invest to put some precious metals. It is something that you could look into. So this common knowledge that you want to buy a low and sell high. But what's interesting is that a lot of the people they ended up buying the high and selling low. And the reason for this is that because they left their emotions get to them, so they wait out to the stocks market for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, after 9 years of the bull run, they go all in, and they put all their money into the stocks market at all-time highs, and then the stocks market decreases, and they sell it all because they get scared. It happens when the Bitcoin hits. Happens with so many different things. So people buy high and they sell low. It's the complete opposite of what you want to do. And the way to kind of fix this is to really think of the one quote that Warren Buffett said that's pretty famous, and that is you want to be faithful when others are greedy, and greedy when others faithful. So just think about that for a second, where you want to be greedy when others are fearful. So when everybody running away, maybe that's the time when you want to go against the gain. Now maybe it's not the well if the market just start to collapse, and then you run into the might not be the best time to it start. It had to time that to get to the bottoms of the market, but sometimes you want to focus on the things not so much on the macro, but more on the micro. See, there's always going to be the companies, there always going to be the investments in the business opportunities as the whole. There is always going to be the ones that have so much potential even at the bottom of the market. Even if the worst of the worst time, there is going to be the businesses that you can start that can be in the next $1 billion businesses. No matter what day, the weeks it is, what year it is, there is going to be the something that you can get into. So don't worry about the macro too much. Focus on the micro, focus on the individual company, focus on your own company, focus on your own thing. One more thing thought I think is really important. You want to diversify your income, so that's you are not totally dependent on the source of the incomes. I think that's the mistakes that people make where they might to have their jobs. It might seem so very secure. Maybe they are the middle-aged manager and they get laid off and then all of a sudden they are $6,000 worth of the expenses every single month. Now they can't pay for them, they can't afford to pay for them. It's the serious problems that a lot of the people faced during the last recessions, and you don't want to face. So I will have the something lined up so that you're able to sort of diversifying your incomes. Maybe you have this real properties. Maybe you have the hobby that you enjoy, playing music, and so you can teach people how to play music and made a few $100s a month just to pay off the some bills that you might have to pay off in order to survive, in order to get by without having to worry too much. So that wraps up this video. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. Leave your thoughts down below and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel already. I don't see anybody next time.